So, Roshni, I love books. And recently I just picked up this book called The Wealth
Oh my
You Can't
God.
Buy.
See, I have the same book. I love reading book, you know that? And the same book as you about the wealth. This is
Uh,
very important.
I
Wow.
know. And I
Read about
got, I went,
prosperity.
I went and got this book too, The Five Types of Wealth. That's a great book as
The
well.
same. Wow. We are like, it's different. It's same. And I'm shocked right now you have the same ambition of reading book and you have the same type of book. It's very important. And this is a part of life, wealth.
Yes, yes. And if I'm signaling, hey, wealth, come to me, I've got the books around and so on.
It's nice, and it's really nice that you keep the book, you're reading it, and I hope like people in life also is still continuously reading the hard book, which is very important also for them. Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to This Is Me, Healthy, Wealthy, Inspired. And as you can see, I am dressed and wearing green because we are here to talk about money and women. And so this is a podcast for girls and women who want to take better control of their finances, but it's also for men, the men that love women, because men have sisters, they have mothers, they have aunts and granddaughters, daughters. So stay tuned for my conversation because I think that after this conversation, you're going to have a better idea of what is the state of affairs with regards to women and money and what do we need to do? How do we control our finances? Why do we need to focus on these things? So I have invited Roshni Laullooa, and she is a wealth management planner. So let me tell you a bit about her. She is a black belt in karate. She speaks 7 languages, and she's won some meaningful awards, namely the Wow Women Canada Award and the Leading Ladies Canada Legacy Award. And more recently, she just won the Wow Mauritius UK International Platform with a Lifetime Achievement Award. For being so young, that's quite an accomplishment. Welcome, Roshni.
Hi, Isme. Thank you very much, and it's my pleasure to be amongst you today. And thanks for the invitation, and thanks for the wonderful topic, which is very important to talk about.
I see that you're also wearing green.
Oh, thank you. And as you know, wealth is not about money also. Wealth is about health and love. And that is a very wonderful topic of starting the green side, which is connected with nature also, which is love with the nature, love with the health, everything. And I love the green today. You have started this portion. So,
Yeah. Well,
my
yeah. I
question.
mean, wealth and prosperity, very important. Green is also the color of renewal, ambition, health, vitality, luck. It's all of the above. So I thought, you know what? Let me get into the costume.
That's very beautiful. And especially like when you say like love, green is about love, about money, everything. And it's important, like you just spread your light and sunshine to everyone. That green color is bringing it to everyone. Very nice.
Great. Now, you know what, Roshni, when I think about wealth, I see it as a bigger, sort of more holistic concept. So, for example, you mentioned health is wealth. I think health is wealth. So is time, because if you've got money but you don't have time, then you won't be able to enjoy the money. If you have loved ones, um, parents, children, whatever, and friends, that to me is part of wealth as well. And for me, creativity or adventure, that's another part of wealth, the way I see it. Of course, money is a big piece, right? Money is the driver of all of this. And if you have this holistic view, then you have the ability to serve the world. So that's how I see it. How about you? Do you have any ideas about wealth?
True, and when people talk about wealth and finances in my DNA, so definitely I want to share my thought. When it comes to money, as I say, wealth, it's not about money also, and money is a resource of the part of our life, which is important when people need to purchase or do something. But for me, when it comes to harmony, like between financial stability, which is the wealth, and emotional well-being, physically health, and sense of purpose of the life. This is the most important about the wealth. And when it comes to think about also when we say about financial wealth, is not that you're richer, that is a financial wealth. It's also when people has a loved one beside them, it's kind of you are richer also, because emotionally when you are attached with something, you're getting that support. Is a portion that you're getting your inheritance, that loved one is here for that support. This also is part of wealth in life. Yeah.
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
about your thought? Because you have came to a culture like me, so you should know, like maybe you have experienced the same way, like what is wealth for you when it comes to emotional and financial stability?
Oh, absolutely. Like if you don't have money, the problem is that it will create stress, and that stress will affect you emotionally, and then it affects you physically. Your health will decline. So it sort of goes together. Like I think financial security is a very, very important aspect of everybody's lives, whether we like it or not. We need money to live, to survive, to have food, to have shelter, and so on. So it's a big piece. Yeah.
True. And this is a really remarkable thing that you have said. Like money is like something which is a part of important in our life. But when it comes to three things, we have to focus also. These three things work well. I always tell my client, which is your loved one, your financial, your health. If one is not working well, that means these two will not work well. It's definitely these three is going to be debalanced. So we should not make it complex. Only money is important about wealth. It's also our loved one and our health, which is more important. And especially when it comes to women, you can see that. That's why I'm projecting some of next project, which is coming up also. We'll talk about that later. And this is very important when it comes to women for focusing on their wealth part and the culture that came before and now the Gen Z. There's a big gap of generation on the world right now, and experience wise, and how one was thinking about wealth before, and what is the new generation, and what is the current situation of women on our age, what they think about wealth. And what about you and your family, your kids, about wealth was thinking? Because I
Well,
know, like, depend on the culture, woman, especially when it comes to women, when you talk about money, because it's something is stressful sometimes.
well, you mentioned culture, and I was just wondering, you're from Mauritius, right? So
Yeah.
it's has a similar culture to where I originally came from, which was Bangladesh. So the in terms of culture, and also at that time, um, less women took care of their money. For example, I have a blueprint in my head of my mom who did not want to participate in finances at all. She did participate in major financial decisions like buying a house or whatever, but really, like, no. Any kind of banking, investing, whatever, no, not interested. Of course, I have that blueprint in my head, right? And for a long time, that's what I was doing. It was just, I was on autopilot, right? And I don't know about what your experience is, but given her generation, um, that's what they did. They relied on men to be the financial breadwinner, and to manage finances.
True. And they're based, like you said, the culture wise on previous, if you go on 45, 50 years ago. I know, like I learned from my mom, like that's why my financial road came in a little like focusing how to manage about money and finance and how to take care of the family responsibility. This is also a part of wealth. Like woman was feeling stress on term of money when husband was working on that time, just how to manage the budget. They were leaving that stress for them on men's side.
Mm.
And there was a hierarchy level, a brain wash on that time. I would say men want tend to be like they want to be like, okay, I'm the pillar at head of the house. So when it comes to money, which is more priority, I will take care of. But I learned, like for me, my culture, even it was the same aspect, same as Bangladesh, is a similar culture. Everything was a similar, and woman was tending like, okay, when it comes to money, it's better. I'll focus more on the house sides.
Right.
But my mom, I'll tell you, before it was existing. It was existing when woman was taking care about the wealth of the house. Because you can see nowadays gold has big value. They were saving money and was purchasing gold on that time. For them,
Wow.
it was a long term, like, see, I still have the grandparents, grandparents gold with me, but still, like, they know how to invest in a long term investment. They
Mm.
have the idea of that, saving,
Okay.
purchasing, and learning a small trick like that when you go to school. It's normal, the tradition change, and we got a different concept how investment work, how financial work, how the house budget work. This is small thing that woman was starting to work on wealth on that time, but the
Mhm.
knowledge was not present on that time.
Right.
And the knowledge of telling the woman you were doing the right thing just to protect your wealth, to
Mhm.
protect your security, to protect your family, and this is a portion of wealth management also. This
Right.
is
Right.
really good in other way when they're thinking. But how about you? Because you have your daughter, you can tell me the gap and the change. How
Well,
was it?
the thing is, there are several trends going on that are driving this change of women getting more involved in their finances. And that's because more women are earning higher incomes. They're more educated than men these days. They are building businesses. There's the great transfer of wealth that's also happening where a woman might come into money because her spouse passed away. So she needs to know how to manage that money, or their parents, or, somebody. So more women are coming into money that way. More women remain single for longer than they did before, because they want their education, they want to get a job, and then, they might look for a partner or whatever. So handling finances independently, it's something I taught my kids because, um, I had to go from being in a marriage where I had my husband mostly take care of everything, the big ticket items, certainly. I was involved in. I was involved in all the decisions around where are we going to put our money? Are we going to invest it or whatever? But I didn't really assume the full responsibility until I had to, which was, I got a divorce and I was put in the position of now being everything, the breadwinner, the financial person, the parent, everything. So yeah, that's when I had to um, take control, realizing that our lives depended on it. What inspired you to become like wealth management planner in the first place?
Perfect. So that is a great question because like as I say, like before woman, like because I feel like helping uplifting women was always my role that I want to help people. Okay, so it's not only about women. I'm a wealth management planner only for women. When it comes to couple, I like both couple together just to settle. And you told me you went in a divorce, it was struggling another way for the financial part where you were not on that responsible. Me, I like to clarify it and educate people. It doesn't matter like they want it to be separately managed when they are married, and it's very respectful value for both sides, but independently you're giving the control of the wife also to know what is wealth management for in the future where enforcing happen. This is the role that I want to help women, because most of the women in their past, they have a blind spot, like in
Mm.
other way, a fear in the mind, like when it come to money, they are fear to have a mistake happen. They can do a mistake.
Right.
They don't know anything about enough just to invest, and
Mhm.
they were risk aversion, regret aversion when it comes to an investment,
Sure.
and they have a fear what people will think about if I'm taking the role of this responsibility, judgment. They will feel like, okay, someone will handle that if something happen, what other will think about my way of working. So that inspired me like in other way, because I saw my mom, how she has been managing hand to hand with my dad, even she was not on that role of taking finance 100%. But
Mhm.
for me it was like in other way just to educate, because when it comes to divorce, the suffering part is most on financial part when the woman is going. I went through that, and I know my first marriage is a long story, but I like to be on that portion just to help lots of women who is need to manage, even they are single, even not single. It's very important for them to be
So did you
financially.
so did you run into trouble during that time when you went through the divorce? Is that?
Yeah, and I lost a lots of money, and which I didn't want, because on that time my family was a modest family, could not afford, and I don't want my mom and dad involved. When it come to a wedding, in our culture, it's a big wedding, lots of money is going like in the depths, say. So I
Mhm.
don't want them, because they were like, for me, it's focusing on my family health was more important also. So
Mhm.
as a daughter, I need like on that time I say, okay, I like to do karate. I do everything. I like to stand. It's not only woman to do. I'm a black belt karate, yeah. But
Oh,
I like
wow.
also, yeah, it's Kyokushinkai karate. But I love also to be in other way to protect my family in a secure way.
Sure.
And I'm married now, yeah, and it's nearly more than 14 years we are together, me and Sebastian. And he's in legal side, me, I'm also financial and legal, but we really love the aspect like when it come to financial, at least every Friday we together. I always say a couple, even someone who is single, keep your 15 minutes to go through your expenses, to go on your responsibility. It's very, very important for yourself to know how you're able to manage things. This is like for me, when it comes to when you say about the why about wealth management for teaching people, it's the same as your health. If something happened, you need to go to a doctor, a specialist.
Hmm.
And when it comes to thing, which is sometimes we are not knowledgeable what happened to our body, because we don't know what is happening. It's the same thing for your finance. You may have knowledge of the maths and accounting, but when it comes to a financial world, then it's quite difficult to manage everything on your own. You need a specialist. So that's my purpose of inspiring, like making women to be financially independent, security, protecting their family. I love to educate. This is a way of me of sharing the wealth management.
Hmm. Hmm. And so, I mean, it's interesting you say that, women need to do this, but there are still many, many capable, intelligent women who still avoid engaging with their financial lives. Are you finding that at all, or is the playing field completely different?
Well, this is like thing which is happening nowadays, influencing. So influencing when you go to a society depend what kind of friend you're making, what type of society you're meeting, what kind of meeting you're having, and what kind of culture you're adopting. Because we're in Canada, it's a diversity place, and you know that. And when it comes to women nowadays, they don't want to tend to take it because it's a fear for them that they will not able to reach on that target that they have, they want to meet. Because some want to be name and fame, and some want to work like, okay, no, I want to grow my graph, and some want to be, okay, no, the security of my family, I really need that portion.
Hmm.
Well, it's a big risk that women don't engage sometime because they feel like they will loss of control, and they may be like vulnerability in responsibility. It can be also a recovering on a lifetime of transition. That can be also that fear come in other way. Or they maybe has a choice, limit choice. They don't know what to do in retirement. And they don't know when it comes to independence about the money, what will happen if they don't have a zero and what is the next. So they have not gone in a certain difficulty on that time to take that decision. Is it real? I need it. It's sometimes you can see some women, yeah, they start when they go on that trouble. When they
Mm.
know like they're going so high debt, then they
Right.
take for the advice, they take for the help at the last minute. But
Okay.
some like to take that precaution. And you know that because you told me when you went on the divorce and how you have to take that over. Tell
Sure.
me about that, how you have been taking over and how you have been
Well, you know
planning.
what? Although I say that I didn't really take an interest, I was actually in the background, always kind of involved. I realized that I was involved in many ways because we invested in some stocks. And I remember being very risk averse and thinking, I don't want to lose that money. And so when we bought the house, I said, let's take the money from there. It was me that said, let's take the money from there, put it in our down payment. Luckily, we did that because guess what? The whole thing tanked. Lots of our friends lost money, And so, I've got to say that I have been involved in financial decisions. So I can't really say that I was completely hands off. It was just not something that I enjoyed doing. But I
Ex-
think it's like everything else, you may not enjoy it, but as you become more competent, you feel better about doing it.
True.
To the point where, paying for bills, it's like, oh, I like paying my bills because I can. You know?
Sure. And you know, once you take that decision, it feel like more or less burden in someone's life,
Right,
and you feel yourself lighter, and you see yourself, I am knowledgeable, I know everything.
right.
So when you say like you tell me like it was on that time you were not taking the decision, you say, oh, uh, you're not taking the finance, you were not aware of that. Everything was manageable by your husband.
Mhm.
So what is happening, and when situation come, it come as a shock in your life. So
Yes.
it's very important for a woman to know about understanding the cash flow, which is simple thing. What is the cash flow of the house? What is the emergency fund? And what is happening if we have a power outage tomorrow? We are not, or we don't expect. It may happen. There's an accident in the family, like the pillar of the house is going on an accident. How you will be able to manage about the financial of the bank, and what is the insurance you have? What is the thing you have? Some practical, like small thing. Nowadays, I can see like women are very knowledgeable, lots of things like that. When it comes to
Mhm.
finance, they run to the financial advisor,
Sure.
and some, which is very, very beautifully, you can see self-educate. Like they self-educate themselves when it comes to risk. You told me about the stock.
Mhm.
True. But I will never suggest us. That's why a wealth planner, why it's different from advisor and planner. They go in a group, like completely whole life of the person. It come to the current past situation and the future and the goal. So we'll not tell the person, oh, just invest in stock. all a thing
Mm.
in store. I should see what is your priority. Maybe on that time, priority was your house. Maybe on that time, your kids' education was a priority. So in that term, we think what is a priority goal and what is your cash flow. This is thing that you can go for a conservative investment rather than a risk investment.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
in retirement, you can put it in a high risk, but it depends. You don't need to put it in a stock. Also, you can still put it in a mutual fund on other type of portfolio management. So
Mm.
this is thing that educate the client, which is not aware. They have a self-knowledge
Mm.
about money and financial and security, but how to securely 100%. It's good hand to hand, both side couple know about that. Even not a couple, sometimes women like to take like, okay, I'm the financial advisor of the house. It's very important. Most of the women nowadays, you know that. And when they are married, it's a prenup now. And we don't have that before.
Yes, and in fact, we in the past thought about prenups as something that undermines the relationship,
Yeah,
that it is, people are thinking, oh, you don't think this marriage is going to last, so you want a prenup? What about our love and all of that? We had a lot of stigma around it, but now people are seeing that, hey, a prenup is a great idea because you are taking the agency away from the government, which will tell you how your money is going to be divided. Instead, you have this conversation with your partner. What will we do in the event that something does go wrong? Because you know what? Over 50% of marriages fail, or people get divorced. So it's good to have that conversation, and it's good to take it out of the hands of the government. You can do a prenup and decide on your own. It's a good conversation to have anyway. It's not about a lack of love, it's just being taking control. You know,
sure.
that's how I
And
see it.
you're right. Sure, you're right. And prenup, like nowadays, is not like a taboo. It's something that is like, okay, it's something like which is integrated in a contract life, and it's something normal nowadays.
Yeah,
And it's very important.
it's good to talk about all of these financial things there instead of later, when you have no choice but to talk about finances. You're with a divorce attorney and you're having to sort all this out. Why not have the conversation before? Okay, I want to make sure that you are in a good position to raise our kids, the man might say. Okay, so what does that involve? Oh, do we really need 50-50? Because you'll have the kids. So what should we do about that? Just it's those hard conversations nobody really wants to have, right?
Exactly. I know, like people think like it's a big headache for them, but generally it's something that is protecting yourself for not having a bad one, like more like illness in your life. You can
Mm.
be a more illness, which is like an illness that cannot be cured, like cancer sometime. So
Yes,
this is thing like this is good to protect yourself in the future. And this is called like you're doing yourself a financial literacy of educating and having knowledge about the numbers, having asking question before the government is taking over, as you said, making some decision of not having fear in the future, and we'll have a mutual understanding both sides. Because sometimes like when you don't talk about these things, divorce also costs, and it costs
yes,
a lot for a lawyer. It
that's
costs a
true.
lot for the division. It costs a lot for the portion, and that affect the kids most of the time.
Exactly. And also money is I think it's like the number two reason for which people actually get divorced. So you want to have that money conversation way before you get married, if you
True.
can.
And
Yeah.
when it comes to money, things destroy. And when it comes to a fight in the financial world, and example, if one of the family pass away, then you can see sibling is like the fight that they never had, the good memories had. It has come part be like partly everyone is going on their own way and they are living their own life, and it come like a destroyer of emotion where the family was stronger together. There's no that emotion. It's something that it's if you do it in a peaceful way, a pre plan in advance,
Yeah.
it's helpful. And
Yes, because you don't have
money
to
is
go
wealth.
through the trauma of
Exactly.
sorting all this out later, you know?
True.
Mhm. And
And
hopefully, your marriage will end in death, not divorce. But, it's not a guarantee. Right?
nothing is a guarantee in this world. Everything
That's
is
right.
temporary, and even we come empty and we are going empty hand, that.
Mhm.
And the only thing that left is your legacy, your name,
You
what you
got
did,
it.
what is you did good thing. And that name is like it's more than a wealth also. And money will come and goes, but how to manage that budgeting also, it's very important how you're working on that plan.
Yes, and so yeah, I'm glad you're covering the reasons for which women actually need to focus on the finances. But circling back to our cultural background, I was just thinking about, yeah, there's some cultural elements, but when I was doing the research to for this podcast, I found out that women in 1964 in Canada, um, you know, did not have to have a male co-signer for opening up a bank account. I mean, they could way back when open up a bank account, but banks would be, discriminate and they would want a male uh, signatory.
Exactly.
And it was only in 1964 that that changed. In the States, it was 1974 when it was legislated that you can't do this, you can't discriminate. So while we think about our culture as being part of it, no, it's global culture, really, you know. Don't you?
True. Exactly. And when it comes to a bank of Western side decision, sometime it was a little impact on the Eastern side. So
Mm.
our culture was most of the Eastern side culture, and male dominant was more on that time,
Mhm.
and decision making in a house was not able, like woman was not able to speak up on that time. They were not able to do anything on their own decision. Even they have to go to husband to ask, is it the
Yes.
right decision? They were giving good ideas sometimes, but the speaker value was not here based on generation, like the father-in-law and father-in-law or the grandfather-in-law. It's like that. It was generation. So that mindset when it changed, because on that time Western value also, when I sometime I I speak with my mother-in-law. I ask her because she's in Western completely. I married a
Mhm.
Canadian, purely French Canadian. So she was born in on La Beauce. So I asked her, there's no big difference in our culture and their culture. She was telling me the same thing was happening. They were not able to take any decision by themselves. They were
Mhm.
everything was taking a decision in a house was ahead of the man
Right.
of that time.
Mhm.
So it's not a big difference on our Eastern. It's about the value what we were giving respect to women at that time. So
Mhm.
when women start to be in the market of financial of working and being more like transparent in other way, that curtain has been open just to give everyone equally, so you can work on it as long you're doing it properly well, and you still can do it and go on your own. There was always a monitoring, that it's always a monitoring. And in fact, I'm not telling you only men are fraud. You can know that when you go to the bank, is you have women also which is doing fraud. So
Absolutely.
it's something, they are high technology nowadays. So woman is tech savvy.
Mhm.
They know lots of things. and they learn. And
Right.
I was surprised to see lots of senior in of their home care when COVID hit, and I was doing volunteer for the hospital and home just to show them how to talk with the kids. Why doing them to do their financial online, just to show them how they can do Skype, WhatsApp with the kids, can speak with a virtual. This is thing was giving them more opportunity, but in other way, protection themselves is very important because there's romance scammer also nowadays.
Right.
So when it comes to senior, you can
Hmm.
see that they are unmanageable on other way just because they don't have anyone, they are lonely, their kids is separated, they are in a home, they go in a separate direction where they can be trapped by people who is doing fraud. So as you say, like it was not before men
Hmm.
was controlling because men has a way of securing their family on that time,
Sure. Sure.
and
Yeah.
it's not in a bad way, they were securing
They
the
were the
kids.
protector. They were the
Exactly,
protector, right? Of
exactly, yeah.
family. Hmm.
And when you know, like when you want thing to be happen, even with one hand, you will not have a sound. So when you have two hand, you have the sound. So this is a
Right.
couple. This is called a couple, and this is the thing. Like when it come to manage the wealth management, and when it come to couple, it's good. Like both is transparent on both side, and it doesn't matter Eastern or culture,
Mhm.
Western culture. I think like both has the same value on this portion.
Yes. And in fact, I don't know if you are aware of Muhammad Yunus. I have his book here. He
Okay.
is a
I
Bangla.
never read this one. This is nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Creating your
So
wall. Wow.
he's a Bangladeshi economist who founded the Grameen Bank in Bangladesh, and he essentially gave small loans. These were micro loans to women, and they were able to repay. The repayment rate was like 97 or 98%. You know what I mean? So
Interest rate.
women were very responsible. They took the money, they used it to build a small business or whatever, and then they repaid those loans. So, he then became the interim government advisor, chief advisor, for a while before the new government came into place. But this shows how women, and these were poor women, who would never be able to get a loan in from a bank, right?
Sure. Sure.
And I remember 30 what some years ago, I mean, geez, they didn't want to give me a loan, even though I had all this collateral and whatever. As I was going through my divorce, I couldn't get a loan. I was really kind of upset. I thought, why? I mean, I have all this money stored in an asset and they're not giving me a loan. And then, of course, a few years later, they were saluting me because I had taken charge of my, you know,
Your own finance. Exactly.
yes,
Exactly. You know what? Like you were telling me about Muhammad, what he's doing. This is a great thing because, like we have lots of things in government of many countries where you have type of loan where a woman who is entrepreneur, they have it. That's why when you go to CRA or anything of the government side, why they are not knowledgeable, I like to invite most of the women, they have to go on the website. As long you know how to go, how to search for it, and it's very important. Even you, if nowadays you're able to go on Facebook, Instagram, and doing TikTok, what of the thing, this is thing simple. You just go and find where you can find to do your own business. And if you're feeling like you're not able to reach, because in the house, you are planning for your budgeting, you're planning your timetable. If you're really good in your time management, even for a little time, if you love cooking, maybe you can do something like having a certificate on the health side and open a small entrepreneur on your home side where people want seek people to cook for them, people seek people to do something for catering. This is small thing, like, or someone want to do earrings, someone want to do about selling their dresses. This is
right.
thing. And to get that support of money, it's definitely, yeah, the bank goes through lots of policies. Don't
Mm,
accept because when you were telling me about the control on that time, men having a pay slip, having everything on the bank history was a joint account. It was only like the men was deposited. So
Hmm.
when women don't have their own personal account, there's no history. So that's why the bank is not going to approve in other way because they want to see there's no transaction in deposit, there's no in and out, there's no cash flow, there's no credit, there's nothing as a history.
You know what? That makes me think that in these economic times, you see, because we've got so much change, and with the wars and the, the gas being so expensive, groceries being so expensive, you know what? And people losing jobs, you know, if you're dependent on maybe a man, then he might lose his job. And then what do you do? So it's always good to, start something new. Even men will be in a position where they've lost their job. So they've got to find something new to do, create.
Like you're telling me, like it's good to have a side income for a woman in that side. Like you're not working is okay. Small entrepreneur in their house can be created. This is idea you
Ah,
get. And you have business advisor in most of the bank where they guide you for that. And if you want to do something, open a small, and it doesn't cost you a lot just to open a small entrepreneur by yourself. Like I say, like before it was exist like 40 years ago when I told give you the example, my mom was purchasing gold, was purchasing some stuff to keep it, but this is a security she was keeping in case my dad was not working on
yeah.
that time. That was an investment that she could sell and make money on that
Smart
time
woman,
and
smart
covering,
woman.
yeah. That's why. And you have lots of thing like small thing like your house is a good asset and it's a good loan. It's not a bad loan. There's a good loan and bad loan. The
Now,
people.
you mentioned good debt and bad debt. So if someone has a lot of credit card debt, say they've overspent and all of this, and they didn't manage their money well, do you also offer them help, or do they have to go somewhere else?
So on that portion, definitely I will tell the person to consolidate all that in one and at least they are paying because nowadays inflation has grown higher.
Hmm.
And if you're having lots of debt, you don't have any saving, it's very important. That's why when I go to educate for junior achievement and educate economic and finance in university and high school, I always explain to the student, this is your right time for your investment of 10% every week. Whatever you're spending in your coffee, at least $5 you're putting aside. Believe me, that can be your down payment of your house. That can be the down payment of your business. That can be the down
Right.
payment of a big entrepreneur. That can be the down payment of your lifetime retirement. That can be the down payment of your also vacation for lifetime. That small
Mhm.
thing is helping you. And instead of ongoing, you go of lots of credit, and I don't encourage people when they go to everywhere, people say, oh, you're eligible for that credit. You're eligible for that credit. When I came first time in Canada, I was in that track also because I
Mm.
didn't have my work on that time. So
Okay.
I thought this will help me. But in other way, it was not a great advice. I can have a credit card without using it, keep it aside as an emergency fund, but don't use it in continuously like this.
Hmm.
As long you're paying your credit card, you're getting your point, you're getting your interest low. Based on the life of inflation, you don't know what is growing also with that interest. And this is your lifetime debt you're bringing with you. If you're going, as I say, we came empty hand, but sometimes you're going not empty hand, you feel yourself you're dying with lots of debt also. And
Hmm.
it affect your health. It affect the health of the person, it affect the health of the family, it
True.
affect the environment. Then you see divorce come, problem, fight happen
Yes.
lots of the time.
Hmm.
And kids get influence of learning the same culture sometime,
Yeah.
and kids start doing the same thing, accepting credit card. You can
Right.
keep like to depend on your lifestyle, what type of credit card is best for you. It's good you ask your advisor what is the best fit for me and my work and my life. And keeping two credit card, one is losing, one is here. at least this is helping. There's
Mm.
lots of things can get, and definitely, I think you have the experience. How you feel like about the credit card when you're telling me people has different credit card? What about your thought about this,
About
Pauline?
credit cards? Oh,
Yeah.
I did not like the whole notion of credit cards. Okay. I really didn't because, oh, I'm going to spend money I don't have. You know, it didn't make sense to
Not
me
for you
because
if
I'm
you're
just a
spending.
sensible person. It's like, no. And of course, you know, you need credit cards for to travel and all kinds of things. So yes, I eventually got a credit card, but and I have more than one at this point.
Finally. Yeah.
But I only use one, and I, you know, pay everything off rapidly because, you know, I just, for me, it's just basic common sense is what it is. It's like, okay, I have the money, I'm going to pay it off, boom. I have to use the credit card because I get points and whatever. Great.
Okay, smart.
It's easy. I don't have to you know, take a lot of cash around and so on. But I really don't like the concept because people get into a lot of trouble.
Ah, exactly. But the concept I like, you play smart. This is really good because lots of people don't know how to play smart. You have your credit card and you're using it, you get your point, you can use a point to cover that point. You're earning it because you're paying it completely. You're not paying minimal. But on other way, you're making something from that credit card because you're playing it smart in other way.
Mhm.
But some people don't play smart. They just use the card continuously,
I
but they're
know.
only paying
I
the
know
minimum.
people like that who
Yeah,
say, I
it's
have
something
credit
like
card
betting.
debt of $80,000. I'm like, oh my God, why would you do that? You know,
No,
living
I will
off
not
of credit
suggest someone like go more than like if you're traveling, I understand sometime in a house you're having a high value on that time. But or a businessman need to use it, it's a high value, it depends on the commercial they are working on.
Mm,
But for a single person independently, I don't suggest to like regulating you depend yourself in credit
yeah.
card because this is
But
like you're adopting a very bad habit in other
oh,
way. You're spending
totally.
a lifetime debt
Hmm.
and you are making yourself like dependent like okay, tomorrow the bank will follow me, I'm not following the bank, so
And
this is
the thing is, you know, people aren't thinking ahead as well, like you're saying, that you got to think you're building your financial foundation in your early years, and you hope that it'll last the entire length of your life. Because if you think about it, like my parents chose to be in a retirement home. It's not for everyone. They just love the security of having nurses around, having people, you know, do their laundry, not to think about a bigger house and all of that. They really, and then the camaraderie of the people that were there, and you know, they enjoyed all the activities. So they chose to live there, but they could choose to live there because they had the money. If you don't have the money, you don't have a choice.
true.
You're going to have to fend for yourself, and you may need a lot of help in your later years. You know, you may be tired of, oh my God, I don't want to take care of the house. I just want a small place where there's some good people around. I don't have to worry about food and this and that. So, you know, but you need money to do that.
Exactly. And this is a pre-planning in advance because when it comes to that time, your retirement, your kids may be having their own responsibility. New generation, they are so busy in different ways
Mm.
and the life is coming differently and it's not the same way as we were working at that time.
You know what, though? It's not feasible in this environment where everybody's independent, you know?
Mhm.
You know, I have a brother who's very far away. He's in BC. I'm in
True.
Ontario. I have another one who wasn't actually well. So you know what I mean? It would be impossible for me to become the 100 people that help my parents in the retirement place. And We even had 24-hour care for my mom, because, she had lost my dad. So how will you finance those things? Like, I think about those things as I am older. I'm in that generation where maybe next to go, who knows? Um,
Things
and
we talk, yeah. This is the things we talk with client most of the time when they come to a pre-retirement or they start like having kids. It's very important for them. We just tell them open the RESP when it comes to their education for the university. This is very important. You don't see a burden, a big amount, because you're getting that portion from the government and portion you're contributing. And when it comes to planning for them, like the tax receiving account, their RSP, which is less taxable, lots of thing which is like going on the tax as a triangle is going to the government stay for you, you're investing that portion for your long run. And we just do a planning how much can cost, like you say, the home. And maybe some people attached with the house, they don't want to go to their home,
Mhm.
but they have to pay a separate PWC people like taking
That's
care of
right.
them. And it costs all these things to pay
That's right.
someone. So this is thing you pre-plan in advance because
Right.
inflation grow. And the bread, I'll give you an example. The bread was not the same price when we were back in Canada first time we
No
landed.
kidding. It
It
was a
was
few
near,
cents
yeah.
when
And
we
now,
came to Canada, by the way,
exactly.
which was in 1961. It was just a few cents, right?
Yeah, and it was 10 cents maybe on that time, huh? It was 10 cents or 11 cents, something
Probably.
like that, huh?
Yeah.
For me, it was 99 cents. And I'm telling you about 16 years ago. But what a surprise when you see, and I cannot blame because everything on the product consumer side is increasing on inflation.
I
So it's
know.
normal based on that, the cost of living is increasing, but our salary will not be the same, you know that.
That's right.
This is a thing that you is still okay when it will be increasing. When it will be
Mhm.
increasing,
Mhm.
it's not the same. The purchasing power, the purchasing power is still at the back. It still need to work a
Exactly.
lot.
Mm.
And tax, tax is increasing day by day. And
Yes.
this thing that it's still like, you have to work aside just to make sure you're living the same lifestyle. You're
Hmm.
still having your ambitions, your goal the same way. And the pre-planning is very important when it comes to financial. So nowadays you can see woman is still working on it. And what I love, and I go to the sometime of the library, I can see woman is working on it. And
Yes.
when you see the type of book they're reading, and like you told me like you have one right now, we have it. And I love also like the way like some of the new ladies like new who was working, and Simar Kaur also, you can see that friends that invest.
Mm.
And she was talking about like how in the culture of before she came to a east side cultural, and how people is working nowadays, and what are the finance, what the thought about the investment. There's lots of things like for us, as retirement is not only as a couple, women has to think their retirement also. They have to
Hmm.
think
Now,
the ambition, and
now,
you know that.
yeah, absolutely. Now, for someone who feels intimidated because they haven't been involved in, finance, money, where do you think is the best place to start?
Okay, for them, then I will tell them start small. Start small. It's very important sometimes, even $1, even $2. If you, I'll give you an example, also small. Start small. If $1 per day, it give you at the end of the year $365 or $366. And at the end of the Christmas, you want to purchase something nicer. That 365 is helping. This is a small one. Start small. An example. And what you earn, what you spend, and what you own, you have to focus well. You have to focus on these three type of question: what I'm earning, what I'm spending. If I'm earning like only 50%, I cannot spend like 70%. So
Right.
this is thing like you have to think about. So
Mhm.
you
So you
always have to
mean
think.
like balancing your saving with while still being able to enjoy the present, making sure you have a balance. one time.
Exactly. Balancing your saving, balancing your spending, balancing your investment also.
That's
I
true.
can tell someone, okay, you can save it, but on that time she has lots of things that she's going through her life that she cannot save on that time. So
Hmm.
that type of people, then I will have to ask them, okay, what is the thing I can provide you as a solution on my side can be helpful because I need my role also is to remove some burden to give a support.
Hmm.
That support is here. It's not only educated, but it's also making them practice like a homework. Like
Hmm.
what is the best for you? If you are not able to save, is okay. Let me see how I can reduce your expenses in other way. Example, if the person lifestyle on that time, I will ask, what are the spending is going on and what type of spending? It may be she's purchasing a Starbucks coffee. I can tell the person, I'm not telling you to stop drinking a coffee. It's not about only the branding, but you can still drink similar coffee to a Starbucks instant coffee. When you purchase a box of instant coffee, you're still having the same lifestyle. You're still having the same coffee, but it's costing you lesser. And you can purchase a reusable mug just to show you want to show your branding also. But you're still living the same lifestyle, same taste, same thing, but
Hmm.
you're still having the same enjoyment in your life, but you're saving $5 per day. This is saying like he's helping you. That is my way of telling someone when it comes to that type of situation.
Hmm.
I'll not tell him, okay, no, just put all in saving, but I just want to know what is your spending is and where the money is lacking, where is the money is going. It may be you spend, like mentioned previously, if you're earning $50, you can spend 60, $70. So
Hmm.
you will be always with the interest and debt of more than 10%. It's very important on that portion also when it comes to spending. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, I understand that you are taking on a new initiative. Do you want to maybe tell us what that's about?
Sure, and I'm in a project right now, and when it comes to women, and I feel nowadays, now I can see women is integrating themselves more in investing side, wealth and real estate. Even me, I have my own villa, and I have been investing on that portion back home for my family and my security in other way. And I feel like to be successful in your life, to be a good wealth planner to before I teach coach people, it's very important I practice myself. I did it myself. That 16 years I was building it myself, the wealth in other way. When I was going on successful, I said, okay, one day when I'm successful, I will start to coach people how to do it anytime where they are stuck or not stuck. So my project is in progress right now, but I already opened the page maybe in Facebook I created. It has not been 100% a launch. And I'm in the progress of woman wealth management, which is a Nari Shakti. And Nari Shakti is mean the power of woman together
Hmm.
and lighter everything. And
Nadi means
Nari
woman.
woman, Shakti means
Shakti
power.
means strength,
Power.
power. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I name it Woman in Wealth Management Nari Shakti because people was thinking, okay, Eastern culture, when it come to finance, woman was not that knowledgeable. But for me, it was exists and woman was here just to elaborate more. And I just want to be that force of this woman on my culture. Why not if I put it on Western side, women in wealth management will understand when I put it Nari Shakti in their own word, that make them understand they are still can build their wealth.
Hmm.
And my project is to coach them how to build their financial and their wealth management for their own security and coaches them. It's not only about money, it's also about your health, your wealth, your love, and everyone together because I just want like everyone to live in a peaceful life. And where the war is coming nowadays, it's just because of one war, the social media is making it more worse sometime. And for me, spreading the way of my love is like giving them whatever I have acquired in my life, sharing that knowledge freely to these people and giving that fear they have in their mind to remove it, to spread it more in a good way for themselves.
Well, I think that's a very inspiring note to end this conversation. And I'm really glad that you came to this podcast. I'm sure it'll be helpful for people. And if you like this conversation, hit the like button, comment, subscribe. All of these things will help take it out to more women who might need this information. I just want to say that today women run household finances, more women. They're managing investment portfolios. They own their own businesses. They direct the family wealth. And it's important to work with a planner like Roshni. So I'm really glad. Again, thank you so much for being here. And I hope this inspires more people to take charge of their money, men or women.
Sure. Thank you. And thank you for having me. And as I say, this is a great conversation you open because people feel as a fear to talk about that. And it's really good. And I will tell women, stop thinking like, I'm not good with money. You have to remove that in your mind. And it's very important. This is a good closure you tell. And I think this is a time now with your podcast. People will think about it now. What is wealth? What is money? What is love? And what is health? And thank you for doing that great job, Asma. It's a really great job you're doing, spreading love in other way, house to house, mouse to mouse, and ears to ears. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roshni. I really appreciate you being here and making us a little smarter. Thanks everyone for watching, and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe.